Well, I was here last week at the 50% off sale. Bought quite a few things that were the last of their type that I didn't think would last till a lower price. So now we're 80-90% off. Let's see if there's anything left. Well, here's my scores from the last 2 Sundays of Radio Shack closeout sales. The first Sunday, last Sunday, was I think 50% off, and there was things that were still priced a little high, but I bought them anyway because they were the only one of a kind left, like this infrared thermometer. I've taken some of these out of a lot of the packaging, but they were all original packaged. The infrared thermometer was 50% off at $20, and the iFixit Pro kit was 50% off at $32.50. A couple little battery holders were 70% off. The mouse, which I'm using, the wireless mouse, was half off at $10, and the digital caliper was 60% off at $10. So my total price for that visit before tax was $73.81 for all those things. And today I went back and it was supposedly 80-90% off according to the signs, but it really wasn't. Some of it was, but some of it wasn't. I got the USB charger for 60 cents, 90% off of the original $5.97 price. The little digital recording module soundboard for $1.20, 90% off the original $11.99 price. New recorder to replace mine, which just broke recently. Normally $60, and I got it for $12, so that's 80% off. And a little mini amplifier speaker for $3, normally $15, so that's 80% off. And finally, which is probably my final purchase at a Radio Shack, I just couldn't help myself, a cassette player recorder. Normally $40, I got it for $8, so probably the last time I can get a new recorder in a brick and mortar store for a cassette recorder. I think I'll just leave it in its package. Those were the good old days. So in the last 2 weeks, before tax, I've spent $98.60 on all this stuff, which normally would have cost $287.35, so that's somewhere around 64 or 65% off. There's a lot of people that seem to be happy that Radio Shack is closing, and I'm not. I didn't go into them all the time, but they're only a mile from me, and I could always stop in and pick something up when I needed it. They've got the nearest other sources for me are probably a Fry's about 10 miles away, and it's of course hectic in there, and then 3 professional electronics parts stores in Indianapolis that are probably all a half hour away from me. So for convenience, this Radio Shack closing is really going to put a damper on me. And I don't see why people who don't use Radio Shack they seem to be happy they're closing. If they never went in there, why do they care if they're open? The people who liked Radio Shack and needed them sometimes use them. But anyway, that's probably my final Radio Shack purchases. The sign said closed in 6 days or something. I'm not sure when that is, but I'm sure I won't be back. So my Radio Shack days are over, but I did score some things I've been wanting to get for a while that were just priced too high, and finally I got reasonable prices. Even with 50 or 60% off, some of these prices only come down to reasonable for what you get. But $100 for everything, I'm happy. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.